Hello and happy podcast day, Falcon Paladin.
Happy podcast day, Sir Somicron.
Yes, yeah,
Quite. It
quite
is
quick.
more StarCraft 2 and Warhammer.
There is some StarCraft 2 to talk about, isn't there?
Yes, there certainly
Have
is.
you heard the big new headline in StarCraft 2? Max Pax gives up his ticket to EWC. Whoa! Water is wet. News at 11.
What a big name to do something so unexpected.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
maybe before we die, maybe before we are old, we'll see Max Pax go to a premier tournament. That would be nice.
I
He's
wouldn't.
number 2 in a Ligulac right now.
Yes,
How is that possible?
because he wins everything else.
Yeah, but, like, Morrow doesn't win everything else. You know what I mean?
Maru doesn't play like EPTs and stuff like that.
So, okay. So the benefit of winning EPTs is more than like winning a GSL, apparently.
Well, I think it's probably quantitative, and I mean Maru's not winning GSL. Spoilers.
You got a second place. That should count for more than winning an EPT. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like second place in a GSL not as good as winning like 10 EPTs, because I'd argue it is. It's better.
I would say, in terms of prestige, probably you're right. But
Yeah.
in terms of number of data points that a Ligalek can pull from to measure which players you're beating and whether or not you should be above them, winning 10 EPTs is going to give you more data points.
Well, I think they should change the system, because Max Pax being number 2 ahead of Morrow at this point makes no sense to me at all.
I mean,
None. And Dark. And I mean, Raynor and like Clem, and at least he's not ahead of Cyril at this point.
no. I mean,
That would be utterly ridiculous instead of just utterly ridiculous.
just a reminder that Cyril's currently at military, still managing to hold number one on a Ligalak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
just
it's still allowed to compete, which is great.
yes.
Good job, Finland. Yeah.
What's Max Pack's match history? Okay, so he recently just yesterday beat Clem 3-2, so that makes sense that he's above Clem.
Yeah, that's fair.
2-0 stats recently.
It's fine.
If Ligalak could scroll down when I scroll, that'd be great. He almost beat Beyond, so almost.
Yeah, I hear you.
2-3. Like, I mean, come on. He beat
Yeah.
Clem again, 3-2 mid last month.
It's like his resume is just beating up on Clem.
Well, I mean, I'm skipping over like Cyan and Skillis and Mixu and
Totally.
Lambo. Beat Classic and Creator, both 2-0, 2-1.
That's fun.
He did go 1-2 to Kyo, though. Kyo beat him. 3-0 Solar, 2-0 Creator, 2-0 Hero in an ESL. So he's like beating up on the Koreans pretty regularly. 3-0 Hero, 2-0 Rogue, 3-0
Where did
Solar.
he 2-0 Rogue?
Kung Fu Cup 24 Summer number 5.
This year?
Yeah. This was 2 months ago. Yeah.
Dang. All right. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. Huh.
Who's the worst person he's been beaten by, though? Nicaract. In SC Boy World Team League 2024 Summer, he tied with Nicaract.
Tied with?
1-1. They went 1-1, apparently. I don't know what the format was, but...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he lost to this guy who is number 6 in Russia. 65th in the world. So...
Yeah, that's not great. Okay. All right, whatever. Good job, Max Pax. Keep it going, I guess. Maybe one day you'll compete in something that actually matters. It'll be good.
Maybe. I really don't think he should be allowed to play if they're deliberately not intending to, carry on to the next tournament. Because, like, all the tournaments feed into each other. That's what their points are for, right? And if you're
Yeah.
deliberately saying, well, I don't want... I'm not going to do that. It's like, okay, well, can you imagine if, like, 9 of the world's best players chose not to go to, you know, the World Championship Series? Like, it'd be ridiculous. I feel like a condition of entry is a genuine intent to go to the next thing. And, like, if it turns out, like, his wife's giving birth or something that week and he can't make it, fine. Like, there should be genuinely good reasons not to go, but not to go to everything, he's got to be on house arrest, right?
Yes, right. We've had this discussion. Is he in prison? Like, what's going on here exactly?
Yeah.
Is he the crown prince of Norway? Like, is he like a drug runner? I have no idea.
Absolutely
It's a good
no clue.
mystery.
Absolutely no clue. Yeah. Anyway.
Like, who would have thought that this kid Max Pax, who like made this whole proxy PvT build very famous, would turn out to be someone we never saw their face?
Yeah.
Because this happens, right? Like, you know, someone shows up, gets a lot of notoriety, continues to get better, and like we get to know who they are and where they're from and what they do, and what their face looks like, and just like that's what we assumed was going to happen with this Max Pax person. It just never did. It's the weirdest thing.
No. Like, what if he's actually just an AI? Like, he is DeepMind and stuck around.
I don't know if there's an AI that can get second place in a Legion hack. I mean, if there is, I feel like they'd be bragging about it a lot more.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. There's gotta be a reason other than I just don't want her. What? God, could you imagine if like StarCraft 2 is also not Max Pax's like full-time job? He's like, yeah, I do this on the weekends for fun. Yeah.
This man, this probably man. We don't know what Max Pax is.
He's not going to EWC because he can't get the time off work. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's it. He competes in weekend stuff because that's when he's free.
Yeah.
And then he's like 80-hour work weeks, 5 days a week. He doesn't sleep. And then on the weekends, he competes professionally in StarCraft and beats people.
Max Pax. Matches played, 3,501 professionally. 0% of them have been offline. He's probably the only person with, you know, total earnings above $2,000 that has 0% offline.
Right.
On their
right.
Yeah, God. Ridiculous.
Anyway, enough about Max Pax.
Just for
Let's
comparison.
talk about people who are actually competing in an event where people were playing in person.
Just for comparison, Cyril's percentage of offline is 29.42%, but his total matches played is less than half of Max Pax's. So Max Pax is playing in everything he can.
Yeah.
That's online.
So that's probably what's breaking Iligulac, is he just competing in all of the offline things, and no one else does that.
Yeah, quite probably, yeah.
Because he's just playing, he's just competing in a way that nobody else ever has.
Seems like.
It's so weird. I wonder if any other esport has ever had this before. Some like completely anonymous player who's just kicking ass. And they're like, who is this? And they never find out, you know?
Yeah, you just reminded me. I watched an anime 2 seasons ago. I'd have to look up what it's called, but it's an esports anime where they're playing definitely not Counter-Strike.
Not Counter-Strike, of course.
Actually, it's probably closer to not Valorant. I think they have like hero abilities. But Valorant is definitely not Overwatch or Counter-Strike, TM, you know?
Yeah.
And in it, one of the main characters has to wear a mask on stage because she's hiding her identity. So she's, you know, I would love to see Max Pax just come out on stage wearing like a fox mask or something, you know. I would be down for that.
There's a Hearthstone guy, this guy's Toast. Who would show up to events wearing a Toast mask, and then he did a face reveal after a couple years.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you could totally like show up wearing a friggin' horse mask or something.
Nobody would judge you.
Nobody would ever know who you are. Nobody would ever know. Come on, Max Pax.
Yeah. No.
I'm sure somebody's had that discussion with him,
Somebody has to have. Somebody.
right? Or the people who know him just understand that he cannot show up in person because of other reasons.
Right.
And it just never does come up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, GSL.
GSL Season 2, 2024. Got our playoffs and finals the other day. Very fun stuff. Predictably, Morrow took down Creator because Protoss can't have nice things. It is just not allowed ever again.
But Creator got a map off him. That means something, right?
No. Not really. Oh my gosh. It's just, yeah, Protoss fan. Like, honestly, I remember some dark times as a Zerg fan back in Heart of the Swarm.
Dark times. Yep.
Yeah, when it's like, oh man, Zerg sucks. We can't win anything. But it wasn't like 2 years. It wasn't this long. It was like a 6-month period where I'm like, wow, this is terrible. And this has been forever. Like if I was a Protoss StarCraft 2 fan, I would have checked out. On some level. I would have been like, screw this game. Screw Terran, especially screw Zerg. I'm not watching any of this garbage, you know? Whew.
So it has been 2 years in the GSL, by the looks of it, since Protoss won. Hero over Maru.
Yeah, glorious. Glorious days for Protoss.
I'm looking at it, and it's like, is 2 years even? 2 years is like an average gap for them, though. Like 2019 Classic wins, then it doesn't get it again until Trap wins. Oh, is this? Oh, this is included. That's a super tournament. That doesn't even count.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
but,
so it's like 2 years
are they
again.
winning super tournaments? Are they winning super tournaments these days?
Yeah, so there's like so if you exclude super tournaments, Hero won in 2022, right?
Yeah.
And then if you exclude super tournaments, a Protoss hasn't won since 2018. Nope, that's a super tournament. 2017.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's like even worse than like, oh, it's been 2 years since they've won anything. It's like they've won one thing in the last 7 years?
7 years, yeah. one major GSL, one Codas, I should say.
Yeah.
And
how about just Premier stuff like Katowice and DreamHack and stuff?
Oh, I'd need to find another list for that. Let me have a look. Katowice. Series EPTs. Where's the most recent? Katowice, they won a World Championship in 2015. Something calling itself a World Championship. It was Zest over Trap. So there was even 2 Protosses there. Wow. 2014, SOS versus Heroes. So it was 2 Protosses again. Maybe that's why.
This is the time.
It's just a quirk of the bracket that we end up with a PvP finals. That's the only way Protoss are getting these.
But I mean, they're not even making it to the final at this point. Crater died in the semifinals. Like that doesn't help.
Well, okay, so Katowice 2021, Reina versus Zest. The one before that, Rogue versus Zest. One before that, Sue versus Stats. One before that, Rogue versus Classic. One before that, TY versus Stats.
These are the finals?
Yeah.
So this is like Protoss getting there.
Yeah.
And then just like not pulling through on any level.
So for the last 7 years, is that 7 years? 2018, that's 6 years. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tournaments in 6 years for some reason. Just counting Katowice's. Of those, what did I say, 7? 4 of them have had Protoss, at least one Protoss in the finals.
Man, so they're being teased.
Yeah.
Like that's almost even worse because like if they're not making it to the final, you just check out. Period. You're like, screw this game. But if they make it to the final, it's like, well, it can't be. It's not that far away. Like we just gotta perform. Just gotta show up just once. You know.
Just once. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it never happened. Oh, that's so much worse. That's so much worse because you're totally tuning in. You're still watching.
Yep.
You're still like, all right, my guy's in the final. Let's go. And then,
No. Yeah.
oh,
That's rough, buddy.
that's so rough.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as someone who used to hate Protoss with the blazing fire of 1,000 suns, like that is how sad this is. That I'm like completely flipping on this. I feel honest sadness for these guys. They don't deserve this. Nobody deserves this.
Sure don't. It's rough.
All right. Well, you know what's interesting is that in the Brood War scene, there hasn't been a balance patch since 2001, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, we continue to have like a pretty good balance of Protoss, Terran, and Zerg winners in these premier tournaments. Like there has been nothing like this. There hasn't been a 2-year gap where Protoss hasn't won anything. There hasn't been a 2-year gap where Terran hasn't won anything. Like it's weird. It's weird, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like the recent balance patches have definitely at least ostensibly attempted to fix this problem, right?
Yeah, I mean,
not like overtly, not like
in theory, the game is balanced, and in theory, any race could win at the top level, right? Now,
right.
It is a little hard for I would imagine for the balance team to look at this and go like, well, we clearly need to buff Protoss, and then someone in the corner just goes, yeah, but the world's best Protoss isn't attending our tournaments, you know? So how do we know how much help they need, you know? Freaking Max.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you just can't do that.
If Max was there, would he be winning these? I don't know. Maybe he gets stage fright, and the answer is no. But
that almost that's another angle. It almost makes this worse. So like you're a Protoss fan, right? And you're like, all my Toss boys keep making it to the final and losing. But there's this dude who's number 2 on a Ligulac. He is our savior. He is our champion. And he doesn't compete in any of the things that I care about. Like, this has to have driven a StarCraft Protoss fan to, like, insanity, right? Like, there's some dude in a mental ward somewhere that's just like, max packs, stats, zest. Just like, his mind is just broken at this point.
Right.
Maybe one. It's so tough. But my point, it's just like in the recent patches, they're not overtly being like buff Protoss into next week, give Stalkers 400 hit points, right?
Right.
It's just little things they're trying to do to make Protoss better, and it's just not helping. It's just not having the results they're interested in.
Right.
Because this is not. Oh, no, Protoss has only won 15% of the premier tournaments over the last 2 years. How can we help them? This is Protoss has won 0% of the premier tournaments of the last 2 years. It's an absolute problem.
Is this Super Tournament counted as a premier or a major? Super Tournament was sponsored by Mountain Dew. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
It's considered a premier tournament, Super Tournament.
It is, but nobody cares about Super Tournaments.
What's the difference between premier and major?
I think it's just the quality and the ranking of the players involved.
Sure. I don't know. I feel like, to me, premier tournaments are the ones that are like part of the pro circuit or whatever. Like they give you EPT points or ESL points or something, right?
Yeah.
And major tournaments are just like, yeah, they could be equivalent prize pools. Usually not, because like if you look at major tournaments, like who's won these so far, it's like Dark Olivier, Dark Gumiho, Australia, right? It's like, okay, if Dark GSL champion Dark is turning up to major tournaments, there isn't really a difference between major and premier.
Well, except having Dark there and like no one else.
Dark over Gumiho, Dark over Hero, Olivier over Coffee, okay. Australia over Trigger, okay. Dark over Creator, Gumiho over Showtime. I'll vouch for Showtime. I think he's up there. Maybe not quite as up there as Dark, but you know.
Yeah.
But like he's not bad.
But like I'm just saying, I don't know if it can just be like this tournament is always a premier tournament, because like, what if you had like an outbreak of the flu or something in Korea, and all of a sudden, like 80% of your talent can't come to this thing. And then the people that are left competing are, there's like 2 or 3 elite players there, but the rest of them aren't really top 20 Eligulac players.
Most of these games, I imagine, are played online. Like
Okay,
for a
so
lot of these
so
tournaments,
the flu knocks them out. They're like too sick to even play online.
okay, but when does that happen?
I don't know.
I
That's
don't get
why I
I don't
said
get the
it's
point. I
hypothetical.
don't get the point that you're making. Then it's like
The point. Okay, so if it hasn't happened, then we can't ever consider it's a possibility
no
because
no no
nothing
no no
ever
no.
happens if it hasn't happened before.
No, there's absolutely no precedent for like a global
Yeah.
flu to take out a bunch of pro players. That's never happened. That is not the point I'm asking. The point I'm asking is like, what's your point? It's like if they don't show up and we're just left with the coffees and the triggers and the
Yeah, then it's not a
skillses.
premier tournament anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like,
That's all I'm saying.
my point was my definition of premier was that it was like it provides points into like EBT, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that would be regardless of who plays.
And that's what I'm saying. It should matter who plays.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine.
I think maybe for majors, or I don't know, minor tournaments maybe matters who plays. It would be weird for there to be a premier like Gold League Cup, where it's like you have to be in gold. But like Katowice will have, oh, I should say maybe Masters. They'll have like regionals for spring or whatever, and that'll be like whoever plays in, like they'll have an open net section, and so you'll have a bunch of non-darks turn up, but it's still a part of the premier tournament.
I just think there should be a line somewhere, effectively, where if a certain number of like top 20 Eligulac players are not involved in this thing, then it's a major.
Okay.
That's all. It's a small point.
So
Anyway, GSL Season 2 was not one of those.
So hold on. Rebellion, Lunacy, Chance, Honmono, Quanta. Wow, Ryung's still playing. I didn't even know that.
Who?
Ryung.
Oh, Ryung. Yeah.
These were people who played in GSL. Lunacy, Rebellion, Chance. I haven't heard of any of these people. How many of those need to turn up before this GSL doesn't count as a premier tournament? Or
Doesn't matter.
Is it a
if
ratio?
if there's a certain number of people in the top 20 of Eligulac, then you can have 4 million people who aren't.
So as long as there's 20 people who are, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 15 of the 20 or something like that.
15 of the 20.
Of the top 20 in
Okay.
Eligulac.
Okay.
And then you can have 400 scrubs. Whatever. I don't care about them. They're not making it to the final anyway.
Okay. So if you don't want to delineate by prize pool or anything like that. If I hold a $10 cup and I invite everyone on the NA ladder and Dark and Serral and Max Packs and all that, it suddenly counts as a premier tournament, even though it's only valued at $10.
Yeah, that's how I'd like to do it.
Interesting. I don't think that's right.
Well, that's fine. We can disagree.
Yeah, we can. That's fair.
Very reasonable.
I think it would be the worst thing in the world to be like, yeah, I won a $10 premier tournament. When, like, if I was looking at player winnings and like, oh, here's Dark's winnings, it's like GSL, Somicron $10 cup. It's like that should not be on that list just because a bunch of top 10 players were there,
Okay. I think we can just disagree at this point. That's totally fine. I mean, one of us is running GSL and like running the entire StarCraft 2 Pro scene, then we can do it the way we want.
Yeah. When I find my magic genie and I get my 3 wishes, I will order the universe by my design. Yeah.
Exactly. That sounds wonderful. Let's do that.
Excellent. Anyway, this season of GSL,
Uh-huh.
I think I put too much faith in Cure. I was like, now it's time. He's gonna do this thing. I'm gonna put some respect on his name, as the kids say. And 3-1 to Dark.
Sure, but I mean, it's the same Dark who 4-2'd Maru, so like...
Sure. You know.
Like, getting knocked out by Dark in a tournament, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't think that hurts anyone's reputation, you know?
I don't think it helps it, though. Like,
no.
I don't think we're coming out of this being like, you know what, we should really consider Cure more seriously for a top contender position. And, like, last week we were talking about how Dark, you know, he only just managed to get out of his group, barely, you know, Creator beat him out, and, you know, he's got a kid, and all these things that were like, you know what, maybe Cure has a chance here. And then no, just nothing. Gets him out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think it doesn't boost his reputation, but it doesn't hurt it either.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no.
Cure is still Cure.
Cure is still Cure.
He is who we thought he was before this thing started. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Although, man, I don't know. I just feel like, how unfair is it that you make it to the semifinal of a GSL, you get knocked out by Dark, and people are like, meh. Try again next time.
Yeah.
I think it's fair, but it hurts, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I hope he at least, you know, he get third or fourth place in the GSL. That's got to at least give him some money that he can, like, you know, be like, yeah, I can continue this. If he can show up at the next one, he got $940 for that.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
I mean, God, I feel really bad for Q because it's like, okay, that was like this tournament's like a 2-month work, right?
Yeah.
And it's like for $900, and I know the US dollar can stretch a bit further in Korea than it does anywhere else, you know. He technically would have been paid in Korean won, but you know,
yes.
I don't know. It's like, at what point is GSL too small for the players to consider it viable to do this, you know?
Well, it's not like it's 2 months of work. You're at your computer playing,
Right.
competing for 2 straight months. You have time off there to prepare for your next whatever.
Sure, and you can do a lot of things in between. You can play other tournaments. You can stream.
Yeah, you can work at your local convenience store. Yeah.
I remember. I don't know who it was. I think it's TY is going to be a bus driver.
What the God? Don't do that, TY. You could be in a bus accident. It's dangerous. Dangerous for you.
Yeah, but money.
Yeah, but money. But, like, get a friggin' desk job where you're not in traffic 8 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. And, like, who knows how much money the players are getting from teams? Do teams pay their players' salaries? I don't know how teams work. To be fair, like,
I have no idea.
I get why Red Bull probably pays Reno a ton of money to go up and wear a Red Bull jersey every time he's in the World Finals. You know, like, I get that, but like, what is Shopify Rebellion getting from Beyond with an 8th place finish?
Right. Probably not great.
Yeah. What is Hyper One getting out of Honmono getting a 21st place finish in GSL?
Probably nothing. Probably nothing.
I mean, we're talking about him, so it's got to be something.
Right.
Right.
Anyway. Can I just... So there's one game in the finals here. Did you watch the finals?
I've seen the finals twice.
Okay.
I know
incredible stuff here.
I know what you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about Alcyone, aren't you?
Yes. Because what the hell? Because...
like,
Dark's like, all right, I'm up 3-1. One more game to wrap this thing up. What should I do here? What should my strategy be?
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do. Swarm hosts.
My even more confusing is, like, the Terran's up 2-2. They snipe his Evo chamber, so he's only on 2-1, and it's like, okay, I'm down on upgrades.
0. That's his +1 carapace upgrade that he
Was it
loses.
+1? Okay, I must have
Yeah,
like
so he has a 0 carapace upgrade during the first attack of the Terran, and
I
Tasteless is losing his mind because he's like, he doesn't have the armor upgrade. He's going to lose this. Then he wins it because he's dark, and he's like, all right, I guess.
right. I mean, the game does go on later, so there's a point where it's 2-1, 2-2.
Yes.
Right?
Eventually, he does have a carapace upgrade,
But
correct.
but that's the thing. He's like, okay, I'm down an upgrade. The Terran's, powering on ahead. Swarm host is my reaction. Like it's not like he went. Absolutely no part of that game is like Swarm host is what he was planning to do at the start. It's like, okay, he sniped my armor. I'm behind. What should I do? Swarm host.
I have nothing. I have nothing. And I need Maru to talk about that moment. Because Maru's like, we've had a pretty good game. I sniped his evolution chamber. That was rad. I know I'm up on upgrades. I checked those. I'm coming with an attack. I'm expecting banelings and roaches and ravagers, like some viper stuff. It's going to be a tough fight, but I got this. And then he shows up, and these locusts are like, and he's like,
What?
I win.
It's like, oh, thanks for the free W.
Just he must have gone across the map being like, I can do this. It's going to be hard. Dark's a monster. He held off my first attack. But this one I'm ready for. I have the upgrade advantage. Let's go. From like fully concentrated. I must play my best here. I can extend this series to...
Huh?
Oh. I don't have to try.
Right.
The best part is friggin' Dark throws up a Nidus worm on the other side of the map. He's like, I'm a Nidus Maru's natural base. It's going to be so cool. He'll never see this coming. But before he can load anything into the Nidus and launch him out, the attack's on his side of the map, and he has to use the Swarm Hosts defensively. Which, Swarm Hosts are bad against Terran, okay? But at least you can, like, snipe a couple refineries or something, because those can't lift off. Right. But defensive Swarm Hosts have no value at all in any matchup. They're bad against Protoss, which is the only race they're any good against at all. And even Protoss is like, you're using Swarm Host defensively. Adorable. I'm going to let you launch your Locust, and I'm going to step over here and wait for 10 seconds, and then come back in and kill everything. And then you'll be on a 40-second cooldown, so screw you.
Yeah.
Dark, he threw. He just threw. He's like, you know what? A 4-1 GSL finals is boring.
Yeah, maybe
How can we get a 6-game finals? For the fans.
He did it for the fans. That's exactly it. That's my headcanon. I'm sticking to it.
I just can't. Oh. So good. So good. The other game he lost, I think he made Ultras. Am I right about that? You who've watched the series twice now?
I have watched the series twice, which is weird because I absolutely cannot remember anything about those games.
Okay. Because, Falcon's rant.
Yeah.
Falcon's rant is Ultras are bad. You make Ultras, you lose.
Right.
And I'm pretty, because I was like, Dark, why? Why are you doing this?
Yep.
And then he dropped it. And it's just like, Ultras are so bad. Just Liberators, Marauders, Ghosts. There are so many hard counters to the Ultralisk in the current matchup. Sue took down Beyond, I think. Using Ultras once in this GSL a couple weeks ago, and I was like, all right, Sue, let's go. But it's the one time I can think of this has happened against an Elite Terran player. Anyway, so it's just like, I don't know. Dark, the 2 games he lost, he does 2 things that like I would not recommend any Zerg player ever do if they're playing against Maru, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what to say.
Anyway, weird series that way.
Would you like to take just a wild guess, since I've stumbled across something on Wikipedia that I didn't know existed?
Ooh.
It's just match history. It's nothing too impressive. But, like, do you know the first time Dark and Maru faced each other in a professional game?
Ooh.
Would you like to take a guess?
The first time in a professional game.
Yeah.
2016?
Oh, no. 2012, good sir.
Ah, okay. So they've had 12 years of competing against each other at this level.
I
Okay.
am 8. I am 7. Singapore, Taiwan / Korea qualifier.
Dang. All right.
Maruchodim.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I should at some point go through and count if there are more 2-0s for each side or 3-0s. How many sweeps are there basically? You only consider a 2-0 sweep, but you know what I mean.
Right. It's kind of a sweep.
It's a mini sweep.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Anyway, fun with statistics.
What's their... I don't know. I assume Morrow has the upper hand overall in their win-loss.
Series count, Dark versus Maru, it says 22 wins, 26 losses. So yeah, Maru's up.
Oh, but not by like
matches.
a ton.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. He's up 5%. Yeah. Which year? Now I'm just playing with the years. So, so Maru has a 100% win rate against Dark in 2012. Dark has a 100% win rate in 2013. It's 50-50 in 2014. 50-50 again in 2015. There's 50-50. Oh, 2018 was a good year for Maru. 3 wins over Dark, no losses. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, fun with statistics.
That is fun.
It is fun, but it's not really an engaging thing to watch someone look at.
Fair. Yeah, so congratulations on Dark having his first kid, and it seemed like maybe he was a little discombobulated, but he's fine.
When he got up to shake Maru's hand and get the trophy, I'm like, that looks like a man who's been kept up from a baby sleeping. Not sleeping,
So what's more impressive, winning a premier tournament when you're in the military?
Military.
Just had a baby.
Military, because Dark's still only just played in Korea. It's still only just the Koreans. He didn't have to face several.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so, I mean, let's assume it's an equal tournament, though.
I don't know. Who can put a value on the human life? And how disruptive that little life can be.
Wow, that's the thing. Incredibly disruptive. Again, it depends on the kid. Because, again, I have 3 kids, and one of them was a nightmare to try to get to sleep and stay asleep. But the another one was the best sleeping baby I've ever seen in my entire life. From day one, she was just like, I'm just going to sleep 7 hours, as an infant. And we were like, are you dead? This doesn't make any sense at all. This is not how this is supposed to go.
Yeah.
So again, if it's that kind of baby, then whatever, not a big deal.
I would imagine it also depends on the kind of military service then, right?
Yeah.
Finnish military service isn't exactly I'm deployed to Afghanistan,
Right. It's a good question, though. Good question to think about.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
The worst would be having a kid and in the military.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Horrible situation to find yourself in. All right.
Alrighty.
Congratulations, Dark. Way to go.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Zerg's winning a premier tournament's not a huge deal these days, but winning in GSL when you're not Morrow is pretty impressive.
True. I mean, if Morrow had won this, it would have been his 9th GSL. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah.
And which is incredible. And given that they haven't announced any more GSLs for the year, I believe, there's a non-zero chance this might have been the last GSL.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they haven't announced what's happening for GSL next season.
They will.
Will they though?
Not guaranteed. No.
I mean, look, I talked about prize money, right?
Right.
It's not infinite, and it's shrinking, and it's a big studio that they're paying rent for, you know?
So it's a $14,000 USD prize pool, and third place gets $900.
Yeah.
How is this split up?
So first place gets 3.5, second place 1.5.
That's
Ish.
$4,000.
That's 5,000 all up.
Okay, fine.
And then third and fourth both get 900. So let's round that up and say 1,000 each. So that's 7.
Yeah.
Fifth to sixth are getting 700 each. 7 and 8, 700 each. That's another 1.5 there. Well, 1,500. So that's. Yeah, I mean, prize money goes all the way down to 13th to 16th. Everyone gets a little bit at that point.
They need to up third, fourth place if they're getting effectively what a eighth placer gets. That's ridiculous. If you make it to the semifinal, you should be rewarded more than some stages.
What? How much more? Like what percentage? I would say 30% is probably fair.
30% of the whole prize pool?
No, 30% more than what 5th to 6th is, or 7th to 8th.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because that's what they're getting. 7th to 8th is 1 million Korean won. 3rd and 4th are 1.3 million. So it is 30%.
More than 50%.
50% more? Okay. I don't know. Maybe from what I understand, sending more money further down is the intent that players can do this more frequently. They're not under so much pressure to win a tournament. Because if you win a tournament and you get $500,000, that's great for you. But all the other players need to be able to live. They need to be able to do this as a living, and not everyone can win everything. You know. Otherwise, Cyril he'd be a billionaire by now.
It's true.
Yeah, right up there with Max Facts.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, GG Dark. Hope we get another GSL. That'd be rad.
That'd be rad. It would be rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the last thing I want to say about that final is there are a bunch of games in here where Dark is just Roach Ravager go.
Mm-hmm.
Early.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show up with 5 roaches and 3 Ravagers and you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know. I don't feel like we see many Zerg players make that work. I think we see players try it and usually fail miserably, but Dark's no, I'm going to make this look unstoppable. Let's go.
I mean, I think it was game 2. What map was it? Was it Golden Aura or Sight Delta? Which one was first? Nope, it was definitely not Golden Aura. It might have been post-youth. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the map, and I'm just looking at the pictures. Yeah, I think it was post-youth. Mario hadn't even walled like his natural. He had 4... he had 4 supply depots in a line that weren't a wall, right?
I mean...
And it's okay, maybe he was intending on putting another one down, but it just looked like I feel like you could have just ran in with Lings and he wouldn't have noticed. But you get there and he's dropping queens and roaches and Lings flooding in, and it's oh sweet, we don't have to worry about this wall. You see them go to fight it. Not only is the wall not a wall, one of the supply depots was down. So it's how good is this versus how good is this when the opponent lets you into their base, you know?
So on a scale of making Swarm Host in a TVZ, how big a mistake is this for Mario to screw up his wall that bad?
Pretty bad, I think.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
That's so weird.
But
that's so weird.
What I will say is that Dark was also dropping. He had Dropper Lord, so the wall wouldn't, in theory, have made a lot of difference. It would have just held out some Lings until the first supply depot died, you know?
Yeah. But
maybe that's enough time for the Marines to target fire the queens. I don't know. The creep drop meant the queens could transfuse. I don't know.
Right, but how many times are we playing 3s and you scout and you're they haven't walled, and it's woohoo, free win, you know?
Right. We're not versing Mars though.
We're not, but if it's bad at diamond level, how bad is it at the professional level, you know?
Sure, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if we can get him for an interview, we'll ask him what were his thoughts when he didn't have a wall, and what was his thoughts when he saw swarm hosts. You know.
Yeah. We need to ask this man. We need to get him to sit down and be like, so, explain.
Alrighty, are we done with the StarCraft?
I think so, definitely.
Cool. Cool. That leaves us with Warhammer.
Indeed it does. More Horus Heresy. Quite a lot of heresy.
Quite a lot of heresy going on around these days.
Okay, so we read Pharos.
Uh-huh.
I just need to make this point, because I was thinking about it the whole time reading this book.
Okay.
Why do the Night Lords suck so much ass? Like, their Primarch is a try-hard emo child who sucks. They all suck. They're like, we had 5-1 losses against these Ultramarines. Not bad. It's like, what the hell? 5-1? What is wrong with you? Why do you suck so much? They're constantly infighting and threatening to kill each other all the time. There's no organizational anything going on with these guys. Like, freaking Conrad's like, I don't care about my sons. I hope they're all dead.
He literally has
and they're like,
a point
where's our dad? Like, some of them are like, where'd our dad go? And some of them are like, screw him, he abandoned us. They are the most dysfunctional legion in the entire canon that I found out so far. And that includes the ones that are warp fucked from here to Tuesday. Like, I'll take those. Give me the word bearers or like the Thousand Sons or something over the Night Lords.
Are the Night Lords more dysfunctional than the World Eaters?
I mean, yes. The World Eaters can stand up to more than a 5-1 kill death ratio against Ultramarines. And they just accept it. They're like, yeah, we suck ass. The Ultramarines are pretty cool. 5-1 losses is pretty much what we expected. I was like, what is wrong with you? You guys are Legion. You are Space Marines. Act like it. I hate them so much.
Yeah.
Every other Legion is like, oh, I get where these guys are coming from. There's some likable characters here. This is one. In Night Lords, it's like, nope. Okay, that's my rant.
Okay, so I don't know, provide the lore details. Nostromo is their home planet. That's where Conrad
know, and it sucks.
It's all gangers, right?
And we get the poor story of these two baby Space Marines before they're Space Marines trying to survive. And they have to, like, cannibalize this younger kid to live, and it's terrible. And they love each other, and they're trying their hardest. Gosh darn it. And it's a very sad scene. But, like, at this point, we're way past that.
Right, but I'm just saying that, like, gang culture, it infects the 8th Legion? I don't know. What fucking Legion is the Night Lords?
I don't have numbers down very well.
Numbers are hard. 8th Legion, yeah. Right? Yeah. And so they don't have a lot of, like, strong military coordination. Their tactics are terror tactics, which, you know, when it's your goal is submitting human populations, like getting them to submit to your will without having to fight, you know, flaying the noble families will do that, right? You know? So,
yes.
Like, in the world of Warhammer, I'm not recommending we do that to Charles or whatever, you know?
Right. No. I know what you're saying. Okay.
Right. And so, like, they don't do stand-up fight a lot, you know? And so when they, like, get into combat with a practical, well-formed, well-drilled Legion, 5-1 is great odds. Look,
I could not believe it. They're having this, like, command meeting. They're like, all right, so how are things going? Well, it's a 5-1 kill death ratio, which sucks, but, like, we figured that was going to happen. And I'm like, what is going on?
So, yeah, in 40K, there's a really great trilogy of books called the Night Lords trilogy, where there are Night Lords who still kind of function like a Legion. Like, their warband manages to hold some semblance of like military rank, right? Like
Oh.
kind of, but what they do is they just don't fight in a straight up fight. Like they're not good at that, so they do sneaky around. Let's flay an entire city for the fun of it, kind of stuff.
Right.
They achieve their goals through other ways. They eventually, at one point in the books, have to like get they get organized into like the main chaos forces. Like I'm trying to avoid spoilers because I know you don't know it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the leader of chaos now, who you don't know who that is like, hey, I need Night Lords to come and help me with this planet, and they're like, sure, we'll do it. And what they do is they don't go in the main charge with all the other Chaos Space Marines. They go, okay, we'll sneak in through the vents, and slaughter people from the inside, that sort of stuff, which they're much more suited at.
Sure, but so is Alpha Legion.
Sure.
And they don't suck ass in regular combat too. Like,
do they though?
Alpha Legion?
I mean, in a straight up fight, would the Alpha Legion do better than Night Lords against the Ultramarines? Are you sure? Like a lot better?
I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm willing to put some money down that they'd be better than 5-to-1 kill death ratio.
I mean, is 4-to-1 really much better there? Like,
better.
It's
pretty embarrassing. Yeah.
Better is better, right? The worst part about the 5-to-1 is like the Night Lords don't have more numbers than the Ultramarines. That's the really telling part. The Ultramarines canonically are like the biggest legion ever of all time, TM, and the Night Lords are not. So you can't, like, that's not sustainable.
Right. And that's the thing. They show up and they're like, there are 20,000 of us and there are like 500 Space Marines here.
It's a fair fight.
And it's a fair fight. And we know this is going to piss off Guilliman, something fierce, and he's going to show up. And when he does, we are all very dead. Mm-hmm. So we need to get this done fast and get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love the part in the book too. It's like, this was not an official Legion sanctioned event.
Right. Because their Primarch doesn't give a fuck about them. They're just like, hey, we found, like, hey, there's something like lighting up McCrag. What is that? Well, let's go poke around until we figure it out and then seize it.
Right. On our own.
Try and get in good with the War Master if we can give it to him,
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's a thing.
And like, I mean, I do appreciate the level of competence in the first part of the book where they like have this whole plan to capture a vessel of Ultramar and like sneak it, and that's how we're gonna attack, right? It's this whole sneaky thing, and it's multi-staged. There's all these different plans, and they nail everything, and I'm like, all right, okay, fine.
You are good at something.
Like, you're good at something. And like a lot of the time when there's like sneaky stuff going on and it requires the opposing people to not figure out what it is until it's too late, sometimes that's written where it's like, oh, come on. The opposing guys could have figured it out before it wasn't too late, and they just were stupid.
Right.
But like, this was good. This was like, the way they did it, I didn't really have any problem with how, these Space Marines, these Ultramarines were fooled by this. So like, the first part of the book, I was like, all right, I get it. I get where we're coming from with these guys on some level.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But then it just gets worse from there, so.
Because then they get discovered, and then they have to do some fighting, and it's no good.
Yeah.
There's literally a point where the regular humans on Pharos are killing Night Lords.
There's this point where they meet up with an Ultramarine, and he's like, you're going to die if you try to fight these Space Marines. And he's like, we've already killed a bunch. And he's like, he doesn't say this, but I can imagine in his head, he's like, oh yeah, Night Lords. Because he doesn't push back. Yeah. He's like, oh yes, well done.
Yeah.
He's thinking, if they were Ultramarines, that would have never happened.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, there's, so much other good stuff in this book. I, for the first time, get to meet some like baby Space Marines
Some
who are like
scouts,
aren't
yeah.
quite Space Marines yet.
Yeah, who have some of the implants, but not all, and not all of the indoctrination. And like, they still feel fear, and he's like genuinely scared. And the rest of them are like, "Yeah, don't worry, we can fix that later." you know, your
Yeah.
training's not done, young Padawan. You still feel fear. It's fine. It's normal. We get it.
And
I,
they talk about like they can't wear Space Marine armor because they haven't developed their carapace yet.
So the black carapace is a subdermal implant layer. Like it goes basically under your skin and it connects to the suit, and it's basically the
Cool.
neural interface for the armor, right?
Right, right.
But it's like a massive full body thing.
Yeah, yeah. So is it like surgically implanted?
Yep.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah. That's why
It's
making
a
Space
lot to
Marines is
do
hard.
like when you're almost done with the whole process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Well, at that point, their body is still like gen-hanced and pretty resistant and like capable of taking the surgery at that point. Like, you know, and it's like you can't do it first because the rest of the steroids you're going to give them are going to grow them out of proportion. So you have to do it later. One of the things that blows my mind, if we're going to talk about Space Marine creation process, is the Space Marines in 40k will like do a whole bunch of like ritual stuff to their aspirants, being like, okay, you guys have to walk barefoot across the entire winter snowland or whatever. You have to
Or
fight a
stand guard or whatever.
yeah, they have to do all this stuff, and then they go, okay, great, you've survived all the trials, and you've had to fight a Space Marine barehanded, you know, all this really weird stuff, and now we'll do all the genetic testing to see if you can take the implants. It's like, why not do that first? Do that first.
Yeah,
'Cause-
maybe the genetic testing is expensive.
Who knows?
Yeah. No, I don't know. That's a good point. So when you have your own legion, you can do it that way. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'll be practical about it. God damn it!
Definitely.
It's almost like I play Ultramarines. Look at all my Ultramarine models just back there. Wow.
Ice water.
So
Yeah. Also, we always talk about how it's good in these books to have perspectives of humans because it's good to keep you grounded.
Yep.
So
We get
a bunch of
Americus.
that. Yeah.
Americus. Fuck. I do think it's really fun that they're like, oh, we can't bring in regular soldiers to colonize this place because we got to keep it a secret. We'll just get the colonists to do rotations of guard training or whatever, and they're like, okay, sure, we'll go, but nothing ever happens for like years on end. So they're just like, all right, let's go take a stroll through the woods with a las gun, and, you know, camp out under the stars.
Yeah, it's nice. We could eat roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. It's wonderful.
Sing campsite songs, you know.
And then everything goes super bad because Lionel Johnson is like secrecy over security.
Right.
Which like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciated that. The argument among the Primarchs of like how to defend this place. Like, Lionel's point isn't all that bad.
Nope, there's a lot of
Except
things.
for the part that they're broadcasting a light from that planet to like the rest of the galaxy.
That's the interesting thing. What they say in the books is like, the Pharos doesn't light itself. It only lights what you're pointing at. So, like, in theory, you shouldn't be able to see what it is. You can't see the beam, just whatever's been lit up. So I'm not really sure how they worked out where Sothis was, but like...
So like it, because when we first, at least in the books we're reading, when we first find it, it's...
In Unremembered
Isn't
Empire.
it a ship that's... Yeah. It's a ship that's like lost out there. And they see the light, and they're like, let's go there. And it's...
They see McCrag, and they're like, okay,
Oh, it's McCrag, because it's lighting up McCrag. That's right.
Because everything's going to
Yeah,
McCrag.
yeah, yeah.
In theory, if
Yeah.
it was like, here's a bright light, and here's the thing it's shining at, everyone would see all of those things, well, both of those things, and be turning up to them, like whichever's closer. But everyone only goes to McCrag, so they can't see Sothis.
Right. So how did Night Lords figure that out? Good question.
Don't know. Psychic bullshit.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So
anyways, yeah, so like, the humans are great. Like there's this part where like they've been fighting Night Lords forever and like trying to defend this thing and like doing their best, and it sucks. And then an Ultramarine, who is it? Who shows up? I think it's pretty sure it's a Ultramarine that shows up.
Yeah, there are so many Ultramarines in this book.
I know.
Crassius, Bellephon, Golodon, Sarian, Valatin, Matharius, Hellas, Gelias, Juliana. Oh, that's a Vox officer sub. She's part of the Ultramarines command structure, but she's not a Space Marine. Solon, Florian, Malleus, Lethicus, Arcus, Obadiah, Tabakai, Ptolemachus, Archimedes.
Right.
Audelius, Genius. I'm still not done. Like, there's so many goddamn named Ultramarines in this book.
Mm-hmm. Way too many.
Far too many. Far too many for me to keep track of.
God. Anyway, dude shows up, and there's all these human regulars who are like, most of them are dead, and the rest of them are like exhausted, and Maricus is just like super snarky about everything. And one of his buddies is like, please don't kill him. This is just how he is. Yes, he's like, and then he's like, Maricus is like, I didn't mean any respect. And then he goes, yeah, actually, I did.
This book has some surprisingly funny goofs in it.
Definitely.
There's a scene where Conrad like sneaks in and talks to Emperor Sanguinius, and he keeps being mad that Sanguinius is dead naming him. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I've thrown off that name. Call me the Night Haunter. But
Fucking edgelord. He's the worst.
he also throws out a joke that he's like, yeah, Gulliman, the avenging bean counter. And there's this
I'm never bored when he's talking.
Right.
But
just can't
man,
take
do
him
I hate
seriously.
him. Yeah.
There's also a Space Marine in like the opening bit of the book who like, because they're on a ship, they're like, oh yes, we float for Macrae. The book's surprisingly fun.
Definitely. It's a really fun ride.
Yeah.
Well, there's just so much. So when freaking Conrad shows up in the throne room and Sanguinius is like, oh, hey, what's up, guy? And at the end of it, Conrad's like, kill me. Like, I want to die. I want to die at the one at hands of my brothers. This is what I've wanted for...
But he's like, you won't do it because everything's predestined. Like, it'll come at the order of the Emperor himself. So, kill me. I won't fight back. I'll prove it to you right now. Destiny is pre-written. Kill me. I won't fight back. And Sanguinius is like, I can't do it. I won't do it.
Yeah. Like, he takes the swing, though, which is weird. Like, he takes the swing and then stops at the very last second. It's like, if you're not going to do it, then don't do it. Like, why are we... What's the pageantry here? He's
trying to make the attempt because he knows he should probably kill a traitor Primarch if he gets the chance, right? But he's still like, no, I'm Sanguinius. I'm,
justice and truth.
Well, he's, the four temperaments of like choleric, sanguinius, or sanguine, choleric or whatever that they go with for like their moods. Like, you need to balance your humors, brother. You remember that?
Yeah.
Sanguine is one of those, and it is I think the definition of it is like having too much blood, making you hopeful in like unwinnable circumstances. Like when there should be no hope, you still have hope. That's being sanguine, right? And Sanguinius can't help himself but try to offer to fix Conrad. He's like, no, we can still we can put you in rehab. It'll be okay.
Boy, does Conrad hate that.
Yeah.
He gets mad. Like, that's one of the times he gets upset. He's like, don't you pity me? Like, don't you try to be nice to me? I've killed so many of your friends. Like, what are you doing?
You had 200 years of a great crusade to be my friend. We're not taking your pity friendship now.
Totally. Like, Sanguinius is sincere about it, but like, it's way too late for that, man. Yeah.
So, in the earlier stages of the book, Dantioch is like talking about the beacon and like the Pharos system and all this stuff, and he totally just guesses the Emperor's plan, which is like this giant, big secret mystery thing the Emperor's working on the webway. And Antioch's like, yeah, maybe one day we could use it and not have to travel on the webway at all. Or like, not the webway, through the warp.
The warp.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if we can find others of these, we won't need to rely on the warp either. Wouldn't that be a great idea? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess. And the Emperor's like hard at work being like, God damn it, I have to build this thing with a freaking spanner. You know?
One Phillips screwdriver and a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T98 and a ham sandwich.
So wait, this isn't part of. Is it part of the webway?
No.
So, okay, but it's Eldari tech. Like,
it is not Eldari tech.
Not Eldari tech.
It's not Eldari tech.
Oh, I assumed it was.
No,
okay.
No. So I could tell you, but I think it probably gets resolved in another book.
Okay, good.
Probably. Let me have a look, because the Lexicanum has a page for Pharos the novel and Pharos the device, which makes this easy. So there's Unremembered Empire, the Pharos, and then we have 3 more. One is The Heart of the Pharos, which is an audio drama, the Elgian Oath, which is a short story, and Belisarius Call the Great Work. But that's very much a 40k book. And so it might get revealed in that what alien species it is. It might get renounced like in the short story or this audio drama. You won't listen to the audio drama, so it's irrelevant. If that's where it's revealed, I'll just tell you, I guess.
Okay. Well, my thing was, if this thing just gets destroyed, like, it's discovered, it's really cool for like 20 minutes, and then it's gone, like, I don't really care about it, you know?
Right. But like, if it's turning up in the Great Work, Belisarius Call's book, which I have not read, that's 40k, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So no, it doesn't just get straight up destroyed, and it doesn't mean anything.
Well, just because it's still there doesn't mean they're not like sifting through its rubble, maybe.
Ah, well, that's less fun.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I could just tell you what alien it is, if that helps.
Tyranids?
No.
That'd be hilarious, though.
It's a Necron. It's a Necron book.
Oh, it's a
not a Necron book. It's a Necron machine. And
yeah.
Necrons heal. Like all their machines self-heal because they're all made of like living metal. So this thing can be destroyed and will slowly, potentially over let's say 10,000 years, repair itself.
Right. There's that very specific part where they accidentally kind of give it some cracks and then it heals itself. That
right.
With light, yeah.
But it is interesting. As an empathic machine, it is employed by the Necrons, who are all kind of mindless automata.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a little weird. But maybe them being like soulless meant the lesser plebs wouldn't interfere with it, with all of their thoughts of like wanting to see their dad, and just like the Necron rulers, who still have some personality, have more direct control over it. So maybe it makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It is interesting that you mention the Tyranids, though. That tiny little bite-sized bit at the end of the book, where they're like, and the beacon awakened the great devourer.
Right, with a lot of eyes. And I was like,
Yeah.
Sounds like chaos bullshit.
No, that is Tyranids, my good friend. That is.
Oh, that's not chaos bullshit. All right.
That is why in 40k there are Tyranids, because someone turned on a goddamn beacon and the Tyranids are like, that looks tasty.
That's the thing?
That's the thing.
Whoa. In like book 31 of the Horus Heresy, they're like, we should probably include where the Tyranids came from. Okay, here.
We'll just tack it onto the end here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's really funny. I was like, why don't I ever see any goddamn Tyranids in these books? Because they weren't around.
Yep.
That would be it.
That would be it. Yep.
Oh, that's very fun. All right. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up. So there's this brother combo, right? They came up together on Nostromo. They became Space Marines. They've been together. And then one of them gets approached by a demon and is like, what's up? Do you want to win or do you want to die here? And he's like, I know I shouldn't trust you. Also, demons are real. Oh, no. And I'm like, oh, great. another person who's like, oh no, the warp is real. It's like, for the love of, do we have to look at every single person when they figure this out for the first time?
Right. Yep. Yes, we do.
So he's like, sure, deal. And then the guy's like, here's a sweet sword. And he's like, I am not touching that sword. So he gives the sword to his brother?
Yeah. I'm
having issues with this.
Yeah, So Scrivok at the end of the book, he's called the Painted Count. He's like, at the very end, he's like, yes, we just managed to get away, but we have some intel that we can trade to Horus. Like, we know that they think the Emperor's dead, and they're not going to come out and go to Terra. He's like, but I don't have a sword. And they're like, yeah, you do. And the sword's there, like, on him. He's like, where the fuck did this thing come from?
Right.
So, I guess he's like, I guess I'll give the sword away, and if the sword is power, I can control that, because I control them, because he's kind of second in command. By the end, he is in command.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of.
Kind of, right.
As much as you can be in a freaking Night Lord pack.
Right. Everything there is done on, like, reputation. So, like, the moment the one of them's like, kill Scrivok, and they're looking at the Atramentar, who are like the Terminators and the bodyguards, and they're just like, meh, we don't take your orders anymore. We'd rather that guy. It's like, okay, there that goes.
Totally. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I guess more along the lines of the question I'm asking is, there's a point where a Night Lord leader is torturing someone, like reaches into their chest cavity and pulls out their heart, I think is what specifically happened.
Okay, yep.
And another Night Lord is like looking at him and like, you're taking a lot of joy in this. You didn't used to do that. We are not supposed to take that much joy in this. What's wrong with you? And I'm like,
right. So, okay.
But also, you do this all the time.
Okay, so they do touch on it a little bit, but think of it as like the White Scars who were Terrans versus the White Scars who were Chagorians. The White Scars that are Terran are like, yeah, we get that, like, speed is great, but, like, there's more to it than that. We need to be more than just fast. The Night Lords, the older ones, are like, we used to find the terror tactics we did as a necessity, not something we did for fun, right? Like,
because did them we suck at fighting, we had to do this to accomplish our goals.
No, I mean, possibly, maybe, yeah, but also, like, that was their remit. Like, from their perspective, the Emperor made them to do this work. That is what they're charged with doing, right?
Sure.
So it's like they were charged to do this. That's why they spend less time fighting, and now they suck at fighting, rather than they suck at fighting, so they do this. But when the Legion is slowly filled with all of the gutter scum from Nostramo, right? They are barely psycho-conditioned like everyone else. They do just do it for fun. They do just do it because they suck at fighting, and being scary is easier, right? That's what they touch.
Inflicting horrific, specifically designed pains upon randos.
Yeah, and that's the change that this person's noting in their own Legion. It's like, we used to kind of have like a cold, grim, not human, but like honor in it. Like, we did it to save lives on the battlefield, and now we're just doing it for shits and giggles.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, arguably on Sophos, there's no reason to do it.
Because there's not a population.
They can't offer you any resistance.
Right.
Well, some resistance, as we see. But not,
Mm-hmm.
like, enough to be a concern, right?
Right. Like, I mean, here's how bad the Night Lords suck at regular fighting. Fulgrim once took an entire planet with like 7 Marines. They have 20,000 on Sothis, and they're getting beaten by the temporary auxiliary who consider their military service to be like a camping trip, you know?
And some Ultramarines.
And a couple of Ultramarines, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Good stuff. Night Lords. Interesting, but boy, do they suck.
Boy, do they suck. Okay. Is that it for that book? Oh,
that's it.
Dantiok is old. Like, he's very much described as old, and I realize you don't know why he's so old. there is a short story that if we like followed this book, the flowchart back, I think it's a short story called The Iron Within, or Feet of Iron, maybe. I don't remember. I've read it. It's where a space marine goes and is like, "Hey, I heard there's like a loyal Iron Warrior here hanging out somewhere," and he's like, "Yes, I am a loyal Iron Warrior. I'm currently about to be under siege from all the traitor Iron Warriors, so
Right.
I can't run off and help your dad. Like, and if I do, he'll probably just kill me when I'm there because he won't trust me because of my heritage."
Right.
But he was old then as well, is the interesting thing. And I don't think it's in one of these books. I think it's another book. I don't know where it is because I know I read it on a wiki or I saw it in a video, but he has fought a specific kind of enemy, which I could look up what they're called. The Hrud, 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 who can like manipulate entropy basically. So they aged him like thousands of years and just like couldn't kill him, you know. So
Oh.
he is a just a very old marine, and so when he's like, "Oh, Pollux, my friend, help me with my walking stick," he's that's an old marine. They age.
Sure, he's old, but also he's had the hell beat out of him. Like,
Also true. Yes.
yeah, there's a bunch of that going on.
Like he wears a face mask, but I believe his helmet is like fused to his head. You know, the rest of it, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think his dad did that to him,
Yo.
for not being cool or something. But yeah, it's really interesting, and he dies, and it's really sad. But interestingly, the point I'm getting to is there is a loyalist chapter in 40k called the Silver Skulls,
Oh.
who
Honoring Dantioch?
probably honoring Dantioch. But interestingly enough, you can't like legally from the Imperium's perspective, you can't have successor chapters of a traitor legion. They're just like, nah, nope.
Right.
So while it's been under suspicion that they may be their Iron Warriors, no, officially they're technically Ultramarines. Totally, these are Ultramarines.
Ah, gotcha.
So it's you know, I just thought I'd throw that like maybe they took his gene seed before they cremated him, you know,
Could have done so.
and to have their own little stockpile of Iron Warriors now.
They're just under the Ultramarine umbrella because there's 8 million of those. Yeah. 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 A good character, Dantioch.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I know my legion went traitor. That sucks. I'm still loyal. I'm going to prove it every day, all the time.
Yep.
Just doing his best, man.
I'm gonna have the best bromance with Pollux.
Yeah.
Here is normally the Imperial Fists are like night and day with the Iron Warriors, best friends, but also total enemies normally all the time.
Right.
It's so nice to see them all just get along.
It is. It is super nice. And then when Dantioch dies, Pollux like just is like mourning straight up for like days.
Yep. And
Yeah.
He was my best friend.
Yeah. Like so much so when Gilliman finally shows up, he has to be like, Pollux, at attention, dude. Like Primarch in the room to get him to like stop just like cradling the dead body of Dantioch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. The whole ending where Gilliman's just like, let me sweep in here after everyone's already been and just pick up the pieces and give out medals. I'm like, all right.
All right. We get.
I
You
guess
can't
this
do
is-
anything else.
Yeah. And he's good at it, so like sure.
I mean, he gets just far enough away from a crag for Sanguinius to be like, I demand you come back here now.
That's such a great moment too.
Yeah.
Cause the author's like, all right, so now Gilliman has to be like, either I refuse this request and this whole, regent thing falls on its face,
Right.
or I accept it and it hurts my ego.
Or he realizes that now McCrag is not strictly legally his, and he's like, oh, I've put someone else on the throne. That can work against me now. Yeah.
Right.
He's no longer quite the master of all he surveys anymore.
Yeah, that was good.
It's good. It was a good bit. Good bit.
That was good. Yeah. And I mean, it is nice, too, that Gilliman's like, all right, Lionel Johnson had a decent point about hiding this place, but nope. We're going to have like 5 billion guys here now. This is never happening again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what are we reading next?
Where's the old flowchart of pinned in Discord? Here it is.
Here it is. So the next one from this book is Angels of Caliban.
Cut out there. Angels of
Caliban.
Oh, Caliban.
Yeah, we get to find out where the line was in this book and why he wasn't like defending the 500 worlds.
Right. Oh yeah, because that's a part of the book too. Where it's like, where's Lionel Johnson? He's like, I don't know.
He took his legion and pissed off.
Stop doing his own thing. It's like, this guy. Yeah, we can just do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems reasonable.
Okay.
Look at this title actually being something that only returns what it is when you search it. Incredible. There's no confusion at all.
I've never had any confusion. I put into Audible just Angel. The first result is Angel Exterminatus, which is another 40k book. Then it's Angels of Caliban, but I was already typing O for of, and then it goes to the Angel of Indian Lake and Angels of Vengeance and then Angels of Death, which are all not 40k books. So the more specific I get, the less 40k it's offering me.
That's interesting. I assume the algorithm just knows you're probably looking for a Warhammer book before you start searching, so...
Yes. So I own something like 150 audio books, right? More if you want to count all the anthologies, like all of them as individual books. It was like yesterday I got an achievement on Audible for having listened to more than one genre of books.
Holy Hannah. Okay.
Which feels like 150 books that are all very different. Like, they're all Warhammer. I haven't listened to anything not Warhammer. But something about the last book I listened to, they're like, yeah, no, that doesn't count. Don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. Cool. So,
all right.
Gav Thorpe, Angels of Caliban.
Excellent.
I'm looking at the cover and I'm like, oh, okay, the lion's fighting Conrad. More Conrad.
All right, fine. Conrad being Conrad.
Yep.
And start downloading.
Cool.
Hey, it didn't start me on the thing where it's like, here's what the Horus Heresy is this time. That's good.
That's neat. Was there an afterword for the book? Anything?
Yeah.
Anything interesting?
There was. And I think the most interesting thing the author said about Pharos was he tried to make the Night Lords more human.
Okay.
Because he's like, nobody comes out of the womb a murderer and like a torturer, you know? So, yeah. So he tried doing that. But, like, decent effort, I guess.
Yeah, I guess the closest you can kind of come away with is, like, the Night Angels are, as a force, people who are beholden to their lust for power, who are just willing to do whatever it takes to feel like they're in charge, or to, like, put themselves in charge.
Yeah.
Which, wanting control is a pretty human thing.
That's true. That's true.
But, like, again, fucking Night Lords. So,
yeah.
Night
Lords.
Good attempt, but, you know.
Yeah.
It was a high goal. That's all I'll say.
Definitely. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort. Because he's right. Like, it's not interesting if your character is just evil, has always been evil. You know? Yeah. Anyway.
For sure.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Put a bow on
That's going to be it from us. This has been Falcon Paladin and Somicron with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. More 2 and Warhammer. We'll be back next week with more of the same on twitch.tv/Somicron. and on youtube.com/@Somicron as well. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so by buying merch at falconpaladin.store. You can also go to patreon.com/Somicron and support it there on a monthly basis. So if you do that, appreciate it. And until next time, as always, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to us or watching us or whatever you do. And until next time, take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Bye.